Hello and welcome to Huddersfield Town Extra Time here from Ewood Park. I'm pleased to be joined by Andy Booth, club ambassador, and Andy Lawson, town fan. We had two Boovies last week. We've got two Andys this week. I think Sam behind the camera is just trying to trip me up every time we come on, but at least I can call you Boovie this week, Boovie. If we start with you, I was saying to you before we started recording, it's probably a good sign that I'm slightly disappointed we haven't got 3 points from that, isn't it?
It's a very good sign, isn't it? And it could have gone either way. Both teams, for the conditions, I thought it was an entertaining game, really. And for a 0-0, it would a good 0-0. And if somebody said to me before the game, well, I saw somebody in the supermarket this morning, and it would have whether we were going to come to the game. And I said to him, I said, to be honest, I'll take a point now. And you're right. Probably a little bit disappointed we didn't get the 3 because you look at chances created and there weren't a lot in the game, but we probably just pipped it.
Yeah, if we do touch on the conditions that you mentioned there, Boovie, that 15 minutes delay that we had, which I think was caused by as many Town fans that turned up on the day we pay on the day. I think it were over 1,000 turned up on there, which were great to see in the away end. But the rain were coming down biblically, it was freezing and it were standing on the pitch. They had the rollers out cricket style, they had the pitchforks out, and it didn't seem to open that opening 20 minutes, Andy. It seemed to it almost played into Blackburn's favour. They kind of almost played into those conditions better than we did, and it took us a little while to settle into it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Raj. I feel like it did take us that first 10, 15 minutes. I also feel like in that time, maybe the pitch did drain slightly. So that did work for us. But yeah, certainly in that first 15 minutes, I am there shouting at us because we're playing it along the back and we're doing our short little passes, which I know is what we do. And I'm looking at the conditions going, this ball is going to stop and Ben Berreton is just going to run onto one of these. But I feel like, that first 10, 15 minutes, maybe I would have played it a little bit differently, but you got to look at the bigger picture. It's like you've just said to Boothie, you come out of today's game and you feel like actually we could have nicked this. We could have got the points here. And you've got to look at where Blackburn are in the league. You've got to look at where we are in the league as well and say, well, actually, these are like two of the better teams at the moment in this division. We've gone toe to toe with Blackburn at theirs. We've battled the weather conditions as well, and yet we're still coming out of it disappointed. So for me, overall, you've got to look at today and think, again, it's good. I'm happy.
I'll agree with you there. Sorry, Raj. I'll agree with you there, Andy, because sometimes at that first 20 minutes, I'm thinking, I know Carlos wasn't there, but I'm thinking you've got to change your style. I know we do play tippy-tappy, we do play from the back, but sometimes in them conditions, you can't do that. And if you have to put it over the top and put it into their half, you've got to do that. And I would say, man, there was one point, and I don't usually shout at the screen, but Scott, we got a free kick. I think it was about 14, 15 minutes, and Scott got a free kick just about 10, 15 yards into their half. And he took a quick one back. And I'm thinking, hold it, let's get a centre halves up and put it in their box. He hit long. And nothing to do with Scott because he was enthusiastic and he wanted to keep the ball moving. I'm thinking, no, you've got to play the conditions. And that's where I needed your senior lads, Tom Lees, Matty Pearson, just to get hold of him and say, calm it down. Let's just hold on. Let's get the conditions, play to the conditions, and get in that box, get them turned just for that first 20 minutes because that's what we were doing. But after 20 minutes, we got into it.
Yeah, as Andy said, Boovie, once the pitch started to get a bit quicker and drain a little bit and dry up, once the tiny bit of sun that we got in Lancashire came out, Town did get a bit more into it. We ended the first half a bit better. We had a few chances. Dwayne Holmes went clean through and hit the side netting. I actually think that was to do with the conditions as well, because that last touch he took slightly more heavy than he would do usually, because I think he was expecting it to hold up maybe as he got to the penalty area and it just skipped away from him. And that happened a few times where they were overhitting certain passes, underhitting others. These conditions sort of a bit of a nightmare to play in, Boovie, because you don't know if you're coming or going with how the pitch plays.
Yeah, it is. It's not easy at all. And like we said at the beginning, for the 0-0, what the conditions, the teams really played played well, but both teams for the conditions it was. It didn't really bother me because always ball went in air. I never ran with a ball, so it never bothered me at all. As long as that ball went off the pitch, I was happy. But you could tell we did struggle. Both teams did, but they got used to it, and you could see They did well. They both teams did well, but it's not easy. But like you say, it did dry out towards the end. And you mentioned about Dwayne's chance. I was hoping he'd hit it early. I thought the keeper went off his line, and I'm thinking, chip him, have a go, lift him up and lob him. But it's so easy when I'm sat at home with my cup of coffee screen. Dwayne was obviously thinking, get into that box and see if we can hit that target.
Yeah, I think he might have brought up a divot the size of Blackburn as he tried to put his foot underneath the ball if he'd done that. But so fought for another day, perhaps. Andy, if we sit back and we take stock a little bit over the Christmas and New Year period, especially in the Championship, the games come so quick and fast. And Town have been one of a few sides that have actually managed to have our games on, which has been nice. And credit to the medical staff and everything here that are making sure the lads are behaving themselves and just keeping as quiet as possible and everything. To have taken 7 points from that running and to be where we are in the league, that's a real credit to the entire group, isn't it? To have set up this second half of the season as well as we have, and to give this a real go now going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Raj. I look at what was happening just before we got on this good run, and before that we just went on a slightly sticky run, and people were thinking, oh, it's going to be similar to last year. But you look actually at what we're creating here. There is this platform now. We've gone to a Blackburn. We look on par with Blackburn, who are a really solid team at this level. And it is real testament to the things that have happened with Huddersfield Town in the last 12 months since last time. Our squad is clearly stronger. Now you look at it as well and you think that the things that needed working on last season, so maybe we weren't as defensively solid as we could have been, we fixed that now. You look at, and I call them the back four, you got your three centre-backs and your keeper. And you look at that and you think, well, there's that real solidity. We didn't have quite such a solid base last season. So you can look what we can build from. So now I look at this. We've had that little trickier run. We've come through it. We've now gone through Christmas and New Year. We're looking an exciting team to watch, playing really good football, but also with so many options. And we've proven as well recently we can change tactics slightly. We can do things a little bit differently. Like maybe today I was noticing Scott High playing a little nearer to the defence, but he was playing some great balls up to the wings and things. So we're able to change things up. We're able to threaten teams like we haven't been able to for quite some time. And the fact that it comes at this period in time and we go into 2022, it's an exciting few months ahead, I hope.
Yeah, Boovy, it's interesting to point on sort of the players that weren't available as well. Danny Ward was unwell today, and Tom Lees has just come back, and we played without a recognised forward. And that adaptability that Andy mentions is a real key and bonus to us. And it sort of fed into the fact that we've gone against teams that are above us in the league or around us in the league. Coventry at home was one of those. Blackpool, when we played them, were only 3 points behind them. Bristol the same. It's been a really sort of heartening period and sort of, confidence building period that this isn't as if we've played the bottom end of the league week in, week out, and this is where the points have come from. We've gone through what is a tough period on paper, and we've shown a brilliant side to ourselves throughout.
Definitely, yeah. And it is, like Andy says, we're in the second half of the season now. We've just got through the Christmas and New Year period, and it's all downhill for games. And we've played some tough games. Like you go back to Coventry, and I came away from Coventry disappointed, but we still got a 1-1, and Coventry had a good side. And you've already mentioned a few others. We're not playing bottom of the league sides here. We've played teams up and around us that are competing for the playoffs, and there's no reason now. That's where we want to be, and we can be. And you look at it, we made changes today. Yeah, Wardy obviously, unfortunately, missed out. But we played at times. We had Sanani up there, Dwayne Holmes, Josh Cromer, and then even made change towards the end when obviously bringing Ollie Turton on, and then you've got Sober Thomas, the top man, and with last 10 minutes when you can knock it over the top. And there were a couple of examples towards the end that we did use that, and on a surface, you never know. Sober could have got away. So it is you look at a squad and you look at how we can change it. And going back to Dwayne Holmes, obviously he's known for his attacking, but again, last 5 minutes he's making tackles in his own box. Even mopping up, even behind the back three at times. And them lads have put a shift in, but they're versatile as well. They can all play everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point and an important one. Andy, we've got a bit of time now until our next league game. We've obviously got FA Cup next week against Burnley, where we're not sure what sort of side will go out. I imagine it'll be a strong side going away to a Premier League team. Is it important for Town fans at this point of the year to kind of recognise how far the club's come compared to this time last year, how much more impressive the performances are, and maybe give a bit of credit to not only the squad but the management and how they've changed their approach and how well they're doing compared to them, because there seems to be a better feeling and a more of a togetherness from between the squad and the fans that perhaps has been lacking the past few years, that is really, propelling the side onwards and doing what we do. We can see the replies on Twitter and everything like that, and they seem to be being warmer, more understanding towards the boys, and that's surely a good position for the club to be in.
I really hope that people are recognising the better position that we're in as a club, and I know that I'm quite often in here on Extra Time, and I'm kind of like the fans' representative, and I appreciate utterly I do not represent what every single fan thinks. I mean, Raj, you've pointed out in recent weeks I'm quite a positive kind of guy, but I think you have to look at where we are compared to where we have been, and I'm getting the same kind of feeling. I don't want to say too much about it, but almost with David Wagner in that promotion season. Do you know what I mean? In the sense of there is a buzz about the place. We look at how we can take on teams, and we're doing what we need to do to be in the position that's got us to where we are. So now you have to look at this kind of January and hope we're able to keep the key players that we need, or maybe make strengthening in areas that we might look at. But you look at now this next few months to get to May, and you kind of think, well, look at what we've done. If we can keep that kind of form going, I mean, where could we be? But then, hey, look, maybe other Town fans will be like, Andy, stop talking like this, because, I don't know. But Raj, basically, I hope that, yes, the connection for the fans is there. Things are positive at the moment. Things that the club are doing are brilliant, well received by certainly the fans that I speak to. So, yeah, long may it continue and onwards and upwards for Town this year.
Yeah, as I say, we've got the FA Cup next week, then we're back in action at home against Swansea City on the 15th, and there are still tickets available to John Smith, so come down in numbers, cheer the lads on. That'll be another strong game against another good opponent that are in and around us in the league. But I think that's everything for today, lads. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you to Sportsbroker for sponsoring the show, and a Happy New Year to both of you and everyone that's watching.
Happy New Year.